So let's march on, everybody. Let's do it. I'm ready for off-season number 2. This team's a hell of a lot of fun already. Worth noting, by the way, again, the AHL team has made the playoffs. Shout out to Brian Ralston. Brian frickin' Ralston, over a point a game in the AHL. This is something we didn't take a look at before, that we definitely should, is the AHL numbers. Now, obviously, not everybody played the full season. Victor Kozlov, 39 games, 33 points, though. Naslund wasn't quite as dominant as I was hoping, but he was still pretty damn solid. And defensively, Peter Laviolette. It's just funny to see these guys there in the middle of their careers or the end. And goalie-wise, Hirsch was fantastic. Hobby Bulin, not so much as a backup, but we'll see what happens with the Bulin wall long-term. And actually, for the hell of it, we didn't look at AHL numbers last year. We looked at the award winners. Jason Lafreniere. This guy's a beast. Oh, but look who's on the come-up for the Nordiques. The rich are about to get richer. Top goal scorer was Ralston with 49 as he outscored the number 1 overall pick from last year, Paul Correa. Tom Fergus also hit 40. For AHL defenseman, Wayne McBean. What a fun name. Rob Ramage. Top goal scorers, Dan LaPerriere and Chris Luongo, the greatest Luongo in hockey history. Winningest goalie was Corey Hirsch for our Kansas City Blades. He had 7 shutouts, 9, though, for Mikhail Shtelenkov. Yeah. Dominic Roussel, great save percentage. Jacques Cloutier was great for QC as well. Goddamn QC. Oh, they're going to be such a problem this entire run. But let's do it. Playoff time. We'll follow the Blades. Again, a reminder of what the situation will be here for the NHL playoffs. Of course, we already kind of went over it, but just so that you can see it in bracket form. Detroit and the Minnesota North Stars, Chicago, St. Louis, Vancouver, and again, technically the Winnipeg Jets. You got LA and Calgary, Montreal, Boston, Quebec, and Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, New York, and New Jersey. So some good matchups there in the Eastern Conference. Especially the Patrick division, that's tremendous. You can't really ask for better matchups than that, can you? So, but for now, we will follow our Kansas City Blades against, I'm sure you can guess who they're affiliated with. So, boys take game 1. And game number 2. Tommy Albaline just got hurt. Oh, that's right. We still had Tommy Albaline in the minors. They take game number 3 as well. Naslund's showing out. It's a first-round sweep for Peter Laviolette and the boys. Well done, gentlemen. Well done. Oh, my God. It's a long break in between your next set of games, as they'll be taking on Peoria. I forget who Peoria's with. NHL, though, let's take a look at how the first round played out. Detroit sweeps the North Stars. Chicago over St. Louis in 5. St. Louis with Peoria. There you go. Vancouver over Winnipeg in 7. LA over Calgary in 6. Montreal over Boston in 6, so there will be a new Stanley Cup champion. Buffalo swept Quebec. That's insane. Pittsburgh survives Philadelphia in 7, and the Devils knock out the Rangers in 7. Mark Messier's 1994 promise will not come true. So we have Detroit, Chicago, Vancouver, LA, Montreal, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and New Jersey. A very interesting quarterfinals here. We'll see what happens for us against St. Louis's minor league affiliate. They won 40 games, and they hand us our first loss of the playoffs. 1-1 series split, 2-1 in our favor, 3-1 in our favor, and the Kansas City Blades are off to the Final Four. Not bad. Not bad, gentlemen. They'll be taking on Salt Lake. Well, I also forget who they're affiliated with. I could bring up the list, but why not be lazy, right? Let's take a look. Detroit over Chicago in 6. Vancouver knocks out Gretzky and the Kings in 6. Montreal over Buffalo in 5. And Pittsburgh survives New Jersey in 7. So your final 4. All 4 number 1 seeds. All 4 division winners. Detroit, Vancouver, Montreal, and Pittsburgh. Damn. All 4 conference winners. It shouldn't be that surprising, but you just don't expect that to happen. Here we go. A 1-0 deficit. 1-1 for us, trying to make it to the Calder Cup final. Down 2-1. 2-2. Up 3-2. Going to game 7. Ian Moran is hurt. And they have advanced. So our AHL team, the Kansas City Blades, are off to the Calder Cup final to take on the Hamilton Canucks, while the Stanley Cup final is Detroit and Pittsburgh. Detroit beats Vancouver in 5. Pittsburgh beats Montreal in 6. Yzerman versus Lemieux for the Stanley Cup. Gonna be fun to see who wins this one. But we do have a Calder Cup to focus on. Kansas City. We said we've rebuilt our AHL team. I mean, look at this. Kozlov, he's ready for next year. Naslin's ready for next year. Ralston's close. And obviously having like Brian Noonan on the team and Tommy Albaline has helped a lot. Let's see if the boys can seal the deal and win our first bit of hardware here. In this challenge, they win game 1. They win game 2, 9-4. They lose game 3. They win game 4. I'm not going to jump in because 1, it's not the trophy we want. 2, we have seen the Stanley Cup or the Calder Cup celebration as it is now a million times because it's the old Stanley Cup celebration. So I've seen that enough for enough lifetimes. But there it is. The Detroit Red Wings have won a Stanley Cup ahead of schedule, going from one of the worst teams in the league to Stanley Cup champions in 1994, while our Kansas City Blades have won the Calder Cup in Season 2. What a tremendous turnaround for our AHL system, and it really was like the only shot that they had, because we're about to graduate so many of these players. A battle of a 7 seed versus a 2 seed. But the Kansas City Blades get it done. Hopefully it didn't screw around with the roster too much. It did, because we know Brian Ralston crushed it. So we won't be able to get a full look at anything. But we also know that the Detroit Red Wings have won the Stanley Cup. They swept. That's insane. Lemieux, Yager and company getting swept in the Stanley Cup final. That is outrageous. But the Detroit Red Wings are champions. That is just a crazy, crazy run. Steve Yzerman and company. Fedorov, Larionov, who I'm sure is very happy that's where we traded him. Bob Probert only played 3 games in the run, but the problem is, again, it's this defense. Coffey, Lidstrom, Konstantinov, Chason. And like I said, if we did not trade up, they had the number 2 pick last year, but they wanted to trade it. We traded up to get Chris Pronger. Pronger would have been on this team if we didn't make that trade. They won the cup without him. They might have been too good to win it with him, let's be honest. And an in goal, Chris Osgood, at 21 years old, has arrived and is a Stanley Cup champion. There are so many teams where it's like, I just don't know how the hell they're going to fall apart. This is going to be one hell of a challenge, in my view. Just because of the freaking talent levels of some of these teams. So, Altex, what's up? We're doing well. Clearly for you, going well as well. Travel. So season 1, the Boston Bruins won the Cup in 1993. The Detroit Red Wings win it in 1994. Again, worth noting, back-to-back President's Trophies for the Penguins, and they have not won a Cup yet. Steve Yzerman wins the Art Ross. Makes sense. Mario Lemieux won the Hart. Makes sense. Larry Murphy won the Norris. Okay. Not who I thought was going to win it. Cliff Ronning won the Lady Byng. The Calder did go to Ray Whitney, despite the negative plus-minus. Not bad. Way to go, Ray Whitney. How are the Blues doing in your sim? Not well. Is it true that NHL 24 is on Xbox Cloud? Yes. Yes, it is. Better to have a series be difficult for competition than stupidity. That's true. Way to go, Ray Whitney. I did not think they were going to give him the Calder. The Conn Smythe to Steve Yzerman. Makes sense. The Vezina to Mike Vernon. Yeah, there would have been riots if Mike Vernon didn't win that award. He also won the Jennings. Gord Murphy won the Masterton. Phillies coach won the Jack Adams. Adam Oates wins another Selke. Yzerman wins the Ted Lindsay, while Mario Lemieux won the Rocket Richard. Major, yeah, I think we're going to take tonight off from it. Let last night's successes settle a bit, you know? Lafreniere wins the Sullenberger for the most points. Again, I don't know if that guy's related to Alexei. I don't know. He also won league MVP. Brian Ralston, most goals. Let's go. But Peter Forsberg is the top rookie. McBean was the best defenseman. Corey Hirsch was the best goaltender. And Sear was the MVP of our Calder Cup winning Kansas City team. Very nice. Have some award winners there. We went on to win the Cup. That's a good bit of business. I do want to take a look at the progress reports, though, because we know that at least mid-season, Naslund lost his abilities. Pronger's up to an 85, which is great news, and it's like all natural growth, too. Ozelinch, still getting some natural growth. That's good. Ray Whitney, still a lot, all natural growth, in fact. Kozlov, all natural growth. Naslund does not have those abilities anymore. A lot of natural growth, though. So, again, the ability thing is a piss take, but at least he's improving. And Brian Ralston, a lot of natural growth after that. Great season, too. And obviously, we'll get even more off-season development. So, the big question now that our second season's done, is the draft lottery. A reminder of who is in this class. A reminder as well that John Cheng and Per Brunstrom are not real. But obviously, Daniel Alfredson is. Patrick Eliash, Ryan Smith, Jeff Friesen, Jeff O'Neill, Ed Jovanovski, Oleg Tverdovsky. Sven Eriksson, not real, but there's some good names in this draft. We're guaranteed a top 5 pick, I think. We'd love to have that number 1 for Daniel Alfredson. Will we get it? No. The good news, there was no movement. So we will be picking 4th. The Ottawa Senators have won the Daniel Alfredson sweepstakes. Fair enough. Fair enough. So no movement within the lottery for the non-playoff teams. Good, I didn't need the slap chat. That's fair. Retired players. Will we have any this year? Technically, no. Again, these guys are... Well, actually, Peter Stastny. Stastny is like the only one, because again, you still get these guys in the database, but Snipe just murders their overall, so they're not actually there. But Peter Stastny, Rod Langway has also retired, and no goalies. So Stastny and Langway, not too bad. Obviously, both great players in their time. Randy Carlyle also retired and became a scout. Totally missed that. I mean, Randy, you're missing your natural calling. Come on now. So we're off to the Season 2 draft, 1994. Does anybody want to trade their pick that happens to be above us? No. So we are going to be locked in at 4 unless there's a good deal out there to be had. Still no redevelopment for Naslund. Flatley and 2/4 isn't enough. Ray Ferraro and 2/4 is not enough to give up a 4th overall pick. I do want to take a look around the league while we have the time to check out other teams' trade block. Ooh. If we were in cup contention, we'd definitely go for Thomas Steen. Or, for that matter, Andy Brickley. We love you, Brick. We love you. But yeah, Steen doesn't fit the team right now at all. Boston? Nobody we're really worried about. Shout out to Dan Bilesma. Miroslav Shatan is available from Buffalo. Let's make note of that. Again, it's perfect that that's where he ended up. Merrick Malik is also out there, too. Calgary, nobody major. Jamal Mayers, Mark Mowers, Christophe Oliwa. Chicago, nobody major. Brian Savage has developed a bit, though. Fair play. Quebec, David Viborny. Even higher than that. Minnesota, nobody. Detroit, Marty Lapointe. Ooh, Lapointe's not bad. Actually, really quickly. Just double-checking certain overalls. Krivakravtsov on Chicago isn't that bad. And then Detroit getting rid of Marty Lapointe. Also not a bad potential option. The LA Kings. Scott Walker. Never. Not on one of my teams. Montreal. I do love me some PJ Stock. They got Stock and Donna Brashear, huh? I do love me some PJ Stock. New Jersey, Callie Hulse, Brett Bombardier, Todd Reardon. Islanders. Islanders are looking to shop. I mean, we knew about Flatley and Ferraro. They're also shopping Tom Curvers, but again, that doesn't fit our timeline. Rangers looking to move Eric Cairns. He's not that bad. Ottawa, no. Philly, Jason Bowen. I know Ottawa's about to make their pick. Chris Therien. Honestly, that's not too bad. Daniel Alfredson is indeed the number 1 overall pick to the Ottawa Senators. You can't complain about it, man. It's just, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. So again, Philly has Bowen and Chris Therien that aren't that bad. Pittsburgh, Tamer and Heward. St. Louis, just Baker. Raid time. Ray. More like Ray time. Ray, what's up? How the heck are you? I will be messaging you, by the way, the next time we play FC. We were tempted to play tonight, but after the run last night, it was better to take a break. And I'm having a blast with this. Ooh, Adrian Coyne on Vancouver. Adrian Coyne's not bad. Okay. We got a couple of players here to look towards. A Coyne's one of them. It's a Coyne, Shatan, and Merrick Malik. Those are the 3 to target. The problem is, I don't think we necessarily have the value. We didn't even check goaltenders. I should, just for due diligence. But it's Terrio. Terrence, sweet, beautiful Terrence. How you doing, my friend? Love you. I hope you're doing well. Oh, man, even Shields on Buffalo, too, huh? Goddamn. Terry, what were you up to tonight? My goodness, my goodness. My goodness, my goodness. Valorant. Have I ever seen you stream Valorant? You've just been playing whatever, though. God, you've been on Fortnite lately, and I don't even know you anymore. But thank you for the raid, honey. Love you. Stefan Vicent. That's not bad. That's not bad. Hello, everybody coming in from Terry's. If you are on the Xbox Series consoles, Snipe and Score. Snipe and Score Productions on YouTube just put out a new flashback roster based on 1992-93. So we took over the San Jose Sharks, who were big trash garbage at the time. and are only mostly trash garbage now. They're actually much better after this draft. Yeah, we're making this team better. And by now, I meant like modern Sharks, but you get the point. Stefan Fiset had the dopest helmet. He did. He was one of my favorite goalies for that reason, because I had his hockey card. I don't know if he fits the team, though. Yeah, we're at the year 2 draft. Daniel Alfredson just went first overall to, you'll never believe it, the Ottawa Senators. And a generated dude went to Tampa because you can't stop the game from generating random shitbirds. But we deal with it. We deal with it. Are there any other goalies? We picked up Nikolai Hobby-Bulin at last year's draft. So we're not in desperate need for a goalie prospect if we even have the value to do it. Mike Dunham's not bad, but I think Shields, Fiset were certainly better. We already have decent goalie prospects. Can I mention Hobby-Bulin? Roman Cechmanek, Cristobal Huet. Okay. So in terms of what we have to trade, we have our 4th overall pick. We got a 2nd round pick, 37th overall. It would be wise to use that 2nd round pick if we can. Are the Sabres willing to move? I mean, if we could pull off the double for Shatan and Malik, that'd be pretty damn good. Like, honestly, even just the 3 of them would be sick. And shout out to Rick Astley, but not right now. See, in goal, we already have the net detective himself, Jim Carey. We got Hobby-Bulin. We got Kevin Weeks. We really don't need Shields. Tugnut was only on a 1-year deal, though. Carey might be ready to go by the time he's in the preseason. So, I mean, if we can get Miroslav Shatan, we have to do it. That 2nd round pick gets us close-ish, but not close enough. Peterson's not a bad 3rd pairing guy. But he's also not going to be anything special. His value is probably never going to be higher. I mean, if we can use this guy to get a Miroslav Shatan, we should do it. Still not enough. Obviously, Washington's going to make their pick soon. I mentioned being able to flip Brian Noonan. Now would be a great time to do that. I just need to add somebody random. Like Savage. What do you think? There we go. All right, so claiming Brian Noonan on waivers worked out well. We use our 2nd round pick and a defenseman to pick up Marek Malik and Miroslav Shatan. And that leaves us with the choice at 4th overall between 2 real dudes that are left in Patrick Elias or Ryan Smith. Now, our scouts, for whatever reason, did not look at Elias. We do have the information on Smith, who is NHL ready with a near full house of abilities. I don't know how good Snipe made Patrick Elias out of the gates. That is very high risk, high reward. We know what Smith is, but Elias could be anything. He could even be Ryan Smith. And again, Jeff Friesen's NHL ready. Not that we'd go for him right now. They're both left wings. We got a 2-way in Elias, a power forward, and Smith. Or we just go for Radek Bonk and his sick mullet. Again, there's some good names coming up in this draft. Judging by the overalls, Elias is going to be NHL ready as well. I know you can't see it, but he has better defense, a little bit worse physical. Skating's about the same. He has better senses. Smith has the better shooting. Technically, 4 A's for Elias over Smith. The thing is, Elias, you would think, is at least a high 6 as well, if not a medium elite. And that's the thing, right? If Elias is a medium elite, we're going to want him. It's got to be Patrick Elias. I like Ryan Smith too, but it's got to be Patrick Elias for the mystery box. If it turns out he's medium elite and we didn't take him, we'd regret it. So Patrick Elias is going to be our pick here, 4th overall in 1994. He is our guy. And he is a medium elite. We made the right choice. Thank you, God. Does he have abilities? He does. No gold, but born leader, shutdown, tape to tape, and snipe. He is an all-around gem. It's Patrick Elias. That's a damn good pick for us. That is damn good. Carolina at 5, a.k.a. the Hartford Whalers, take Smith. They were both 76 overalls. We won't have to worry about Elias's abilities for too long. Correct! The way this freaking game works. Smith was a prototypical power forward and has skilled up. That's interesting. The New York Islanders at 6. Take Jeff Friesen, an 80 out of the gates, but only a medium top 6. So higher overall, lower ceiling. Edmonton at 7. Take Ed Jovanovski. Jovanovski. I mean, obviously has some offensive touch, has the physicality, the leadership, very strong defenseman for Edmonton. Boston wants to trade at 9. I do not see any possible way how we could acquire that pick. But as it is, we are going to have to start making choices very soon about who stays and who goes. Especially, I mean, look at that left side now. Elias, Naslin, Whitney, Kozlov, Shatan, Chris Simon, Sear. It's nuts. Tommy Salo was in the last draft, yeah. Snipe said he added anybody that played a game in the NHL. So I don't see how we would possibly have the value without using a future first, which could be done, in fairness. Although, you know what? That future second might work just because they're so damn valuable. Let me see. I don't see why this wouldn't be a good idea. Future second, a 6th round pick, and it should just be add somebody not of extreme value to get this done. What about like Craigwell? I thought Craigwell would be enough. What else do we have other than Craigwell that we could add? Anybody not under contract? Stefan Yell. What about Sikora? It's not Peter Sikora, so I don't care. Still no? It shouldn't take much more, though. 5th round pick next year? Quite far off. Never mind. What about a 3rd rounder next year? A 2nd and a 3rd rounder next year. 2 prospects and a 6th for the 9th overall. We'll take that. We will take that. So Toronto at 8 selects Radek Bonk. I was hoping I'd get him with my pick. Radek Bonk is a Maple Leaf. So at 9, who does that leave us with? Tverdovsky, Ericsson's generated. Jeff O'Neill, Steve Sullivan, Freddie Modine. Chris Drury, man. Chris Drury would be pretty nice. Oh, man, Tverdovsky's NHL ready. Jeff O'Neill, unconfirmed. Steve Sullivan, unconfirmed, 1 year out. I know I'm going through it quick, but obviously we have a timer. Drury's 2 years out, but man, I could really use him. Tverdovsky is the best player left, from what I can tell. Or at least for what my scouts have told us. Drury. Is there anybody else who wants to trade Quebec? Which would be perfect for Chris Drury to end up with that organization. I'm not against now trading down a couple of spots to end up with Chris Drury. Recoup some draft picks. I don't know how much we'll have to remove from this. From the looks of it, quite a lot. We move down 5 spots for a 4th round pick. Colorado does take Oleg Tverdovsky, who was good, but I got to be a little bit smart here. Eriksson generated, dude. I mean, you could argue that giving up a player like Oleg Tverdovsky wasn't smart, but this could work out for us. Jeff O'Neill, Snappy, and Schneip. Fool, you get a 3rd for dropping 1. You got Fleece. Steve Sullivan on his way to Buffalo, Snappy, and Wheels. That means we gained a 4th round pick to get the guy that I wanted because we need a center. We need Chris Drury. I'm okay with that. 70 overall, medium top 6. Again, you could argue, you could add Tverdovsky, who was 8 points better. I understand. But we also needed another center that we could build around. Eventually, you do have to consider need. And we did. I'm not upset about getting Chris Drury at all. Mainly because I was a big-time Chris Drury fanboy. We certainly have like no way to trade back up at this stage. Unless we were to make those decisions like right now for who stays and who goes. Which on Chris Drury was on a 2K cover, yes. Honestly, we might not be done wheeling and dealing at this draft. So Urbe's deal is up. Tugnut's deal is up. Some goalie decisions are coming up. I'm not trading Ron Tugnut for a nobody like that. Kevin Weeks will be in the AHL for 1 more year. Carey and Hobby Boulin. Carey might be NHL caliber next year, so I don't want to make a change in goal quite yet. Defensively, Tommy Albaline can go. He was a waiver pickup. It was always the plan to just ditch him for whatever we could. 5th round pick from Calgary, 5th rounder from Chicago. Are we tanking again next year? Ooh, Marty Lapointe. Talked about wanting Martin Lapointe. We're going to tank as much as we can. Because we might not be able to, is the problem. Let's get Martin Lapointe from Detroit for Tommy Albaline. So if we look here in terms of future, right? Left side, we got Pronger. We got the Mandish, Sandis Ozolinsh. Drake Barahowski on the right. So I'm writing up a depth chart right now. Drake Barahowski on the right. Moore isn't really a long-term guy. And Mike Rathje also on the left. We need right side defensemen. Obviously, like Laviolette, Gates, Eakins, Richards, all short-term. Technically, Ian Moran can be factored into that right side. Tamander on the left. Merrick Malik on the left. And here's where you might be starting to realize what I'm thinking. We did just pick up Merrick Malik, but I think we can flip him. St. Louis is going to make their pick at 14. I can't pull off that trade. They take Freddie Modine. No abilities, but a 71 medium top 6. So if we look, Moore is very close to max value. Yes, it's just I think we might have to keep him just to be a guy on the roster. So long term, we're going to have to choose between Rathje and Malik. You know, Tamander, we might as well try to develop because we're not going to get much for him anyway. It makes sense probably to flip Merrick Malik now. And side with Mike Rathje. So Malik could go if there's another deal we're confident in. Right side, sweet Christ. Okay. So right side at the moment is Pat Falloon. God damn. Bure and Deadmarsh aren't going to be ready yet. So we will consider them as outright AHLers. We don't have to make that decision quite yet. Although we could. We could. But yeah, Bure and Deadmarsh definitely aren't ready yet. Brian Ralston, we were going to consider as a center. And he was already a depth forward. He's probably making the jump next year. Darren McCarty is already at least a fourth liner. LaPointe is probably going to graduate next year. Barnaby probably graduates too. And then we got a bunch of like medium bottom sixes, who knows, types. So we're going to have to make a decision here eventually. I don't think we have to make it now. But eventually somebody goes. And obviously guys like Bure and Deadmarsh are going to be replacing some of the grit, right? Like out of McCarty, LaPointe, Burnaby, only one's probably safe long term. But for now, they're okay. Left wing side. How did this happen so fast? I know how it happened. Don't get me wrong, but how did this happen so fast? Like, there's no doubt next year, left-hand side, Whitney is ready. Naslund is ready. Kozlov is ready. Eliash might be ready. Shatan's not going to be ready yet, as Richard Zednik is on his way to Philly. Let's see. So yeah, Shatan's not going to be ready. Chris Simon and Sear are both pretty much ready, I would say. Which leaves Breland, who could be considered as a center. Shatan could be considered as a righty, but that's a terrible idea because we already have too many right wings. Jonas Hoagland is close to being ready. And then we got some other lower levels. And then centers, Allison, Drury, and like LePerriere, Yell. I think it's pretty clear, like, if we can trade Marek Malik to get another center in this draft, we're going to be pretty good. That's kind of the last missing piece, and then we just kind of let people develop, and if they boot somebody out, they boot somebody out. Is there another good center in this draft? Steven Reinprecht is a high 9. Getting the block off. Oh, boy. Okay. You know, Snipe made him good because he is a first-round projected goalie. 3 years out, so he'll be low to mid-60s in overall. Best center left in this draft is Steven Reinprecht, although Park is there, Curtis Brown is there. When was Reinprecht projected? 22nd? Let's go talk to Montreal. I should have just clicked on their name. I always forget I can do that. Montreal. See, it's not really worth it, though, because Reinprecht's value is not going to equate to what that first-round pick value bar is. There also wasn't a prospect out there that fits the theme, so maybe we hold on to Malik for the moment, but a high 9 is not going to equal that value. As it is, Chris Drury doesn't even quite equal that value. But Reinprecht would be who we need, or we hold on to Malik and then trade him later. Trying to accomplish the same thing. I am trying to remember who's in that 1995 draft without looking it up, because it's more fun to try and actively remember. That 95 draft, to my recollection, isn't the most critically acclaimed draft of all time. At least at the high end. Yes, Olin goes to New Jersey. I can hold out for better than Steven Reinprecht. I like Reinprecht, Stanley Cup champion, but let's see. Calgary, they took Lubo Visnovsky. Low overall, but high potential to offset it. LA takes Sheldon Surrey. The New York Rangers with Thomas Holmstrom. Chicago with, I believe, Kenny Janssen. Or was it Kim Janssen? It was Kim Janssen. Sorry, Kenny Janssen was the last year. Montreal takes a generated dude by the name of Coop. Vancouver with Steven Reinprecht, 64 high 9. He's not bad, but again, I think it was worth waiting. Pittsburgh takes Sergei Berezin. R.I.P. And the Detroit Red Wings, the Stanley Cup champions, round out the first round with Selivanov, whose name I always struggle to pronounce. So again, this was the top end of the draft. Alfredson, 2 generated dudes. We got Patrick Elias, and then Ryan Smith went 5th overall, technically to the Hartford Whalers. So we do have the 81st pick in this draft that we'll keep. So let's sim up to that pick. We really don't have anywhere or any way to trade up again. Let's see who's available here, if anybody, in round number 4. In terms of familiar names, Vita Luomo might actually be good, but I'm going to take real dudes. Jason Bonsignor. There's my center. Steve Webb was real. Serge Aubin. Like what? Tyson Nash. Jason Krog. We could go for Jason Krog. Karatanov. Holland, Eric Nicholas. Eric Bolton, if we wanted a face puncher. Jody Shelley. Sven Butenschon. Chris Dingman. Andre Waugh. I thought it was going to be Mikko for a minute. Jamie Storr in goal. And yes, we will look back through the rounds to see who I couldn't get in the second or third round. Pasi Nurminen. Johan Hedberg. Eric Fashode in goal. Derek Burns. Zach Laferrata. Nat Domicelli. Goddamn. Bill McCult. Tremendous mustache on Bill McCult. Ty Conklin. John Graham. Oleg Solovyov. Interesting. There's definitely some names. I think for me, though, that now's a good time to take somebody else here. It's either going to be Krog or Bonsignor. And Bonsignor is only 2 years out. Physical as shit. Krog might have really good defense in the face-offs. Let's go for Bonsignor. Why not? Let's take the huge guy. 67 medium, bottom 6. That's not too bad. We do get another center into the mix. And that is it for our draft. What was it, 2 picks? 3 picks with Elias, Drury, and Bonsignor. A reminder of what the first round looked like, for those of you who might have missed the full thing. But I think we know long-term Marek Malik is our long-term best trade piece to work with moving forward. Let's take a look at round number 2. Evgeny Nabokov found his way to Washington. Steven Neckar, Darren Quint, Rhett Warner, Richard Park to the Islanders. Perfect. Wow. Edmonton had 3 picks out of 4. Curtis Brown, Dave Scatchard, and Nils Ekman. Ethan Morrow to the Islanders. Bates Battaglia, Jeff Halpern to Toronto. Leafs had a ton of picks. Milan Hajduk. I didn't see that this was the Hajduk draft. Oh, fuck me. I didn't scroll down far enough to see him. I don't even care if you made him bad. I still want him. Fuck. This is why I should look at and remember who's in the draft, but I don't. Oh, I love me some Milan Hajduk. That's okay. We got Chris Drury. It's fine. 01 Avs are represented. Fine. Third round. Bryce Salvador, Brad Lukowicz, Radek Martinek, Francois Bouillon. Marty Turco to the Leafs. Oh, snipe. Yeah, I was going to say, I recognize when good players go in the third round, they're low elites. Dude, what a third round. Shane Knighty, Wade Belak, Wayne Primo, Tim Thomas to the Blues. Dan Cloutier, Thomas Vokoun. Dude, the goalies always go in the third round. Jesus, fuck. Jose Theodore to the Capitals. Holy hell. And the thing that sucks is it stops after like 3 to 4 years. And it's all generated dudes because they don't have the fucking eras like NBA does. I fucking wish they would. I want eras in this game more than I want fucking GM Connected back, and I really want GM Connected back. Fourth round, Dan Boyle. There's no way you didn't put Dan Boyle as a low elite if he went in the fourth round. We ended up with fucking Bonsignor as a meme. Brett Lindros went to Washington. Well, hey, if you download Snipes rosters, you know some of the steals to look out for now. Damn, man. Round number 5, Eric Nicholas, Butenshon, Mika Kiprasov to the Winnipeg Jets. Maybe I'm playing this the wrong way. Maybe I should be going for like the mid to late round steals instead of the high-end talent at the top. I feel like we could get to the same spot. Fuck. A lot of grit going in that particular round as well. We got Patrick Elias and Chris Drury in the first round. Round 6, Ty Conklin, John Graham, Bill McCults, Martin Prusek. And round number 7, Eric Riopel. Jason Botterill. Tremendous. Newman was the last pick. It's actually Mika's brother Marco. Fair enough. Well, that is the draft. Done and dusted. We did well, but like I said, all of a sudden, like, there's no denying we're still ending up with a great team. I am now starting to doubt my strategy of aiming for the top of the draft because it looks like the middle of the draft might also fetch you a solid team. We do have some decisions to make heading into this offseason, right? Like, we have both Urbe and Tugnut as free agents. With, Carey and Hobby Bulin to work with in the system. Defensively, like, Rathje will have to sign his ELC. We got a lot of veteran depth to let go of. Pat Falloon. I'm going to qualify Pat Falloon, man. If he gets offer sheeted, I don't even know if offer sheets exist in this reality because there's no cap space. Valerie Bure will need his ELC. You know what? Actually, let's go through this now. Screw it. I don't know if I'm going to do the entire offseason. I'll come back to the goalies. We are signing Mike Rathje to his ELC. I'm keeping Link Gates for the memes. He wants a one-way deal. It doesn't matter, though, because, he could get claimed on waivers, but whatever. We'll just give him what he wants. Like, Eakins, Laviolette, Todd Richards, all you guys can go. Nelson can go. Todd Nelson, that is. We won't sign Merrick Malik yet. Ooh, he could actually play in the AHL. Let's sign Merrick Malik. Right side. We'll qualify Pat Falloon. We'll let go of Rick Vive. He went up a couple points, though, so maybe we revived his career. Thank you. O'Shea's not bad, but I don't see how you fit on that right side, so hopefully somebody picks you up. Valerie Bure has to be signed. These guys are fine, Edward, stuff like that, but I just need to clear players out for now. Get Savage out of there. Deadmarsh is in junior. Left wing side, Whitney is an RFA. Kozlov's an RFA. Craig Berube can go. Elias straight to the AHL. Stu Grimson can go. Malay can go. The Mallet. Jonas Hoagland is going to be staying. And at center, Belanger can go. Tim Taylor can go. Freer can go. Van Allen can go. We'll sign Ian LaPerriere and Stefan Yell to their ELCs. Allison's still in junior. Chris Drury can go straight to the AHL, which is great news. Jason Bonsignor will be in junior. Glenn Metropolit can be signed. Sean Bates can also be signed. At least we got a couple of centers now. All right, let's see. Is anybody going to reject? Gates is back. I doubt anybody's going to reject. And they did not. I think goalie-wise, we're going to let Urbe and Tugnut go for the moment. I want to see what's out there on the market. I mean, obviously, we don't have to worry about cap space, but I'm going to let those two go for the moment. And I want to see, like, is it going to be worth signing like another prospect and just sticking with the young guys? And at least that way we're still bad because we still don't want to get too good too quickly. And we are already flirting with the idea by having 6 guys above an 81 overall or an 81 overall or better. So let's advance here. We'll get to free agency. Oakland's back. We'll have to do all the boring staff stuff, as always. We have a couple of RFAs, but goaltending free agents. Jamie McLennan is an RFA, but aside from that, John Casey, Urbe, Chevelday. I mean, there's a lot of solid goalies. No great prospects, though. So if we wanted to bring in a goaltender to just hold it down for a while, we could. Also, an 84 overall is an elite in this reality for John Casey. Interesting. Defensively, it's a trap. It's a trap. We signed one of these guys early. It's a trap. Even like the 27-year-old options, Kevin Hatcher, Chason, that's a trap right there. RFAs include Matthew Schneider, Keith Carney, Brad Warenka, and Hammerlick. Problem is I'm not going to be able to offer sheet anyone because I don't have any of my damn picks left. Are there any defensive prospects? A lot of high 6s. None of these guys are really prospect age. No. Got the Darren Rumble, though. Okay, we got big decisions to make. Do we have any forward prospects? Oh, Keith Tkachuk. There's no way I can afford the offer sheet, right? 4 years of first-round picks to get Keith Tkachuk. Okay. Well, I'm glad offer sheets still exist because these 3 are ours. 4 years of first-round picks for Keith Tkachuk. Worth it? Maybe. We got some things to think about, man. Also, I mean, Mike Gartner's out there. Mike Keane at 27. Craig Simpson at 27. Wendell Clark. Carson and Elnuik are out there. Not exactly prospect age, though. There's not much in the way of prospects. Even Butsaev's a low 9. So that's the big question is... how slow and steady do we take this? Like, do we go for a Mike Keane? Do we go for Jimmy Carson? Again, that's just forwards. Defense, you're talking about like Kevin Hatcher. We could go for some of these guys, but there's no denying they will make us good. And if we're good too quickly, we're never going to reach the top because we won't have the prospect infrastructure, and you could argue we already do, but I would argue it could be even better. It's like right now we're naturally progressing, but man, it would really still benefit us to take our time and build up for the draft through the draft and from the draft for just a little bit longer. So now is a lovely stopping point to think about all of this because big decisions, but don't be surprised if we play it a little bit safe and take our time because you saw what some of these teams look like, the Pittsburghs, the Detroits, the Buffaloes. Signing Kevin Hatcher now isn't going to mean we're suddenly able to compete with those teams.